Therefore, Ramchal tells us
There is the box.
she.
You usually make the tick in the box. Yeah. You don't make the tick. It just stops, and you can continue it afterwards in the same stream.
Ela, so he said,
Thank you.
Adam. Do you have this Messilat Yesharim a second? What does it say there? The Amal v'Torah. Where were we? So therefore, we said the goal. How do you define the goal? And then we said, so אמנם צריך שידע אדם כי לא למנוחה הוא בא לעולם הזה אלא לעמל וטורח. And that is the purpose of God put us in this world to work, to work hard, and אלא לעמל וטורח. And the hard work is good for us, and it's healthy, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Right? We are here to serve God. That's our purpose. That's our goal. Adam la'amal yulad. Shlomo Melech said we were created. What does that mean? In other words, we have big missions. This world that we're in we have great missions. We need to build the Beit HaMikdash. We need to make this world a place of goodness, kindness. We have to fight the evil that the soldiers are doing today. Exactly. Also that. So we have a mission. Hashem is king. Hashem HaMelech. And he has goals. And there's always something going on. There's movement. Right? Everything is always happening and moving. So therefore, connect to it. ולא ינהג בעצמו, אלא מנהג של הפועלים העושים המלאכה אצל מזכיריהם. A person should look at himself as an employee that he's working. He has to put in his hours. You're in charge of a certain project. So first of all, you know that you are part of this project. It's big. Don't look at the world with small eyes. Don't make yourself small goals. Understand you're part of something big. And you're not just here to be in this world for the small things. God created the world. He didn't just create the whole world for you to have breakfast and that's it. And for you to sleep and quiet. No. There's a mission. This giant creation. All the millions of angels. There's things happening. You're part of something big. And that's what it says in the Gemara, Agire de Yoma Anan. You are like an employee, a day employee. You're getting paid by hour. By the way, that's what they say in Shemaim. They don't ask you how much. They don't ask you how many pages did you learn? How many Gemaras did you learn? When you go to Shemaim, they ask you how many hours did you put in. It's about the work, the effort. Even if you learned one page, you learned one line, but you spent hours thinking, learning, expanding. That's what it is. You're not in a rush. It's not about how much you learned. It's about the hours, the effort that you put into it. And remember, you're part of something big. And that's what it says here. כדרך יוצאי הצבא במערכותיהם. If you want to understand what makes a soldier good, we're all soldiers. First of all, they say in Israel, every meter is a border and every citizen is a soldier. That's the reality. We're all in the front line. But what makes a soldier a good soldier? Not that he knows how to use his tools very well. The technical things. What makes a soldier a good soldier is that he can function in times of difficulty. That's why they make them not be able to sleep. They make them not be able to eat. They make them not be... You sleep whenever... You can wake up anytime. You can sleep anytime. Because you cannot be enslaved to that. We're all soldiers. You cannot be enslaved to that comfort of I need to go to sleep. It's 9 o'clock. I need to eat. It's 1 o'clock. You won't eat. You will eat. If there's food, you'd eat. You'll sleep on the floor. You'll sleep on the You'll sleep sitting up. You'll run. That's what they do. My son, one of his training was he had to run and do very, very, very difficult running, climbing walls and everything, and then shoot and hit. Like maybe they had to shoot 20 or 30 bullets, hit the target when you're exhausted and you're tired and you just finished a whole run and you didn't sleep. That's when you're tested. The test is your ability to function when you don't have the conditions that are perfect. That's what the first book of Tikkun Midot is called, Duties of the Heart, Chovat HaLevavot. And he says there, if you're not willing to take the bitter pill of Tikkun Midot, can't go anywhere. It doesn't mean it has to be bitter, but you have to be willing to take the bitter pill. In other words, that's what we said, part of the training of a soldier is to be able to live a difficult life. It's inseparable. This is what it is. You have to overcome tiredness. You have to overcome your hunger. You have to overcome. You have to be willing to put yourself in these kind of situations. It's part of the training, because war is not easy. Here we are. It's very timely, and that's what it is. So we're part of God's mission. And therefore, we'll get used to eating when we can, what we can. We're not enslaved to it. We're ready for battle. Right? Can you imagine soldiers were conquering, he says here, in the 6-day war, they were conquering. And they're getting ready to conquer. Oh, sorry, I got to go eat. I'm hungry now. Obviously not. Do you understand what's going on? This is the reality. We are part of God's army. It becomes easy because it becomes clear to you what you're part of. I'm part of God's army. I'm part, right? So there's nothing that will break you on the way. You got used to it. And therefore, it's good to train yourself sometimes, not to sleep exactly when you want to sleep, to wake up earlier, to not be locked into this schedule of I can't function without everything exactly. Again, it's good to have a schedule. It's good but not to be enslaved to it. It's good that once in a while you switch it a little bit. You try and see. Now it's been very difficult, but thank God. Where I live, we've been doing guarding at night, so we're getting a taste of this, but it's not simple. But, unfortunately, a lot of the people went out to the war, and we also have an enemy within us that we need to also protect. So, that's what the rabbis told us. This is the way it works in the Torah. Pat b'melech tochal, mayim b'msurat tishteh, v'al tishan. Chazal were telling us, you don't have to eat water and bread, but you have to be willing, if that's what you got, that you'll make do. That's it. It's your consciousness is not that you can't function without all of the luxuries. And they were saying this, they were taking it far. They were taking it far. You have it, good. You don't have it, okay, fine, right? In other words, to have this mindset of we'll make do with what we have. I'm happy with what I have. I don't need to go crazy and work to get money so I can make myself this huge meal. I can get whatever I get. A nice meal is fine, whatever I have. Second thing, so that we explained, that's the first thing. Second one, od mafsidei azrizut. Now we're talking about the second thing. Like I said, the first one was the goal. What's the goal you set? If you set the goal as your physical relaxation. And second thing is rov hapachad vegodel mora min hazman v'toldotav. In other words, another thing that will expand, will grow the laziness is the fear of the time and what could happen, right? In other words, life is complex. Here we are. We just heard a siren. There's a lot of things to be afraid of. We live in a very complex life. And you have to deal with a lot of challenges. That's the way the world is built. You want to survive in this world, you have to be ready to take on challenges. There's always challenges. It's just The challenges are not part of, it's not a malfunction in the reality. It's the way God created the world. We grow through this. This is part of our mission. And a person, there's a lot of things that don't fit. And a person who's always afraid, that's like you become frozen. You become shut down. You won't do anything. You're strengthening the negative laziness. And כי פעם ירא מהקור או מהחום, פעם מהפגעים, פעם מחלאים, פעם מן הרוח. One time you'll be afraid of it's too cold, I can't go daven, or I can't do mitzvah, or it's too cold, or it's too hot, or there's bombs could fall, or I can get sick, or the wind is blowing. Imagination and all these. הוא בעניין שמה שלמה המלך, זה what שלמה המלך says, אמר עצל שחל בדרך ארי בין הרחובות. You come to a lazy person, say, come to a mitzvah. Let's go to a class. Are you crazy? I just heard that the lion might have ran away from a zoo. What? The lion ran away from the zoo? Yeah, there's a lion. There's terrorists everywhere. Don't go learn Machon Meir. Don't go on a bus. Don't go into, some people don't go to Jerusalem. People don't come to Israel. A lot of people, like all these mitzvahs, all these wonderful things don't happen because...
I came from Italy. Yesharim.
Right.
We haven't had a siren in Elyon yet.
So there's always a million things. Right? If you stop and start thinking, maybe this could happen, maybe that could happen, and right? And a person could live his whole life creating these security nets. And that is basically become, how do you say, shituk, like someone is meshutak, someone is paralyzed. A person becomes paralyzed and all these doubts, and that's it. Everything's gone. Rabbi spoke how negative it is. And they said, they said a person who has this kind of fear that freezes you and you don't do anything and it's okay to be afraid. It's not okay to make it stop you from living. You can be afraid. The fear is good. It makes you be cautious. It's there to give you cautiousness and to be careful, to be aware. All those things are wonderful. But to paralyze you, it took over. I don't know if you remember, we spoke about the Rambam. It talks about there's fear is negative. And putting yourself in danger for no reason is the other extreme. People do what's called extreme sports. Jump out of planes, jumps off mountains, all these crazy things. They think that they're, I'm so brave. It's not bravery. That is stupidity. Fear is negative, but also putting yourself in danger for no reason is negative. What's the middle path? And the middle path is a fusion of two. It's not a compromise. It's knowing when to take a little bit of the fear, when to take a little bit of the putting yourself in danger. What's the middle path? Gvura. A soldier is running into the enemy's, how do you say, my son is now in Gaza. Running into the enemy. One of my rabbis, in Ali, Rav Eli Sadan, he said, don't tell a soldier, tishmor al atzmicha. Like, guard yourself. If he guards himself, he's not going to go into battle. Why would he go into battle if he's going to lishmor al atzmicha? You tell him Hashem is guarding you, Hashem is with you. But when gvura is the courage to say, I'm going to now put myself in danger, knowing that there's danger. And the fear I'm going to use to be cautious, careful, go in with a gun, shoot, if somebody tries to come in my way. But that's the middle path. So therefore, when you are afraid, that's what he said, ויחסו חטאים, פחדו בציון חטאים, אחזר האדם חנפים, עד שאמרה אחד הגדולים מתלמידו. There was one of the big rabbis saw his student, and he was so afraid, and he said, חטאת, you're sinning. He says, על זה נאמר, בטח בהשם ועשה. There's so many thoughts you have. Should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? B'tach b'Hashem v'aseh. Trust Hashem and do it. Just throw away, get rid of all of those fears, and just go and do it. B'tach b'Hashem v'aseh tov. And don't let the fear paralyze you. Something big, do it. Forget about all the doubts. It's true, it's complex. Just go ahead and do it. So basically, to summarize it, we said there's three kinds of challenges. We said that we can use the conscience that we spoke in the past classes, that our conscience and the way to deal with, we said here, wanting relaxation and fear. You have to deal with it. Let's keep going here. כללו של דבר, צריך שישים אדם עצמו ארעי בעולם הזה. You have to put yourself as a temporary, I'm temporary in this world. This is not the final stop. Your story of Chafetz Chaim, he met this wealthy guy. Oh, this wealthy guy came to Chafetz Chaim's house and he barely had any furniture. He said, "Where's your furniture?" And the Chafetz Chaim said to the man, "Where's your furniture?" He said, "What do you mean? I'm traveling through. This is not my house." Me too. I'm also passing through. Whatever I have, the minimal, I'm happy with. Don't be afraid of the times and what's going to happen and all these things. What's going to be, right? God will look out for it. In other words, so many good things will not happen because of fear. I'm going to get tzedakah, I might not have tzedakah. I'm going to learn Torah, I'm going to lose my work. I need to be working. Wait. Do you know that the same God that told you to work is the same God that's in charge of that told you to learn Torah and is in charge of all the finances in the world? Do you think the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing? You think if God said you have to learn Torah, so he's not going to worry, like take care of you that you'll get what you need financially? How does that work? The same God, that's bitachon b'Hashem. It's right. God created you to develop this world, to develop your spiritual world. And if you're always concerned and afraid and worried, you're not going to create anything new. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to be stuck. Oh, Shema Tomar, the Ramchal says, well, you may say, what do you mean? It says, God said you have to look out for yourself, right? It says that everything is from Hashem's hands besides getting a cold. You go out without shoes and you don't, and you get cold, you'll get sick. Oh, God, you didn't take care of me. No, you didn't take care of yourself, right? Or so now the Ramchal is going to say, well, where's the balance? You tell me I shouldn't be afraid and just do, but the rabbis taught us you have to be very careful for your bodies. So maybe I won't go anywhere, maybe I won't leave the house, so maybe, right? So here the Ramchal will go into a long thing explaining, no. Look at the answer, okay? Da ki yesh yirah veyesh yirah. There's good fear and there's bad fear. There's good yirah and there's bad yirah. What's the good yirah and what's the bad yirah? הנה אדם ברוך הוא שא את האדם בעל שכל נכון וסברה נכוחה לשינהג עצמו דרך טוב וישמור מן הדברים המזיקים. God gave you a sechel. What does that mean? It's called statistics. You can't let your emotions, in other words, there's science. Scientific. There's ways that you know whether something is okay or can I do it or can I not. What does it mean? During the corona, for example, should we take the vaccine, not take the vaccine? The answer is very simple. The Torah says, V'rapo yirapeh. Rashi says, Mikan shenitna reshut larofe lerapot. There's a halacha. You go by the accepted medication of your days. You go by the majority of the doctors of your time. The ministry of Sara Briut, Misrad Briut, the Ministry of Health, they have an obligation to do surveys and find out what do the majority of the doctors say. If the majority of the doctors, a guy's going to die, 51% operate or he dies. 49% say do not operate. If you operate, you'll kill him. Halachically, you have to operate. If he dies, they're okay. You didn't operate and he didn't die, you still did something wrong. You went against the Torah. There is a way that things are decided. For example, in a general thing, what is called something that is a danger that you're not allowed to go there? There's a road that there's people getting killed on. What is considered a number that you keep going anyway, you don't pay attention? Up to 5%. It's a statistical thing. You have a sechel. More than up, you don't pay attention. Something that's less than 5%. And it's danger. There's dangers. Life is dangerous. Less than 5%, you keep going. Again, we're not talking about a war and being a soldier. There, you put yourself in danger. And whatever it takes, it's part of the mitzvah of conquering Israel. But therefore, this is the reality. We're saying that God gave you a mind, a sechel, an intellect, an idea to really look at things in an objective form, and to really, verify, to question, to see what are the numbers, take away all of the emotional things and the fears and the imagination that expands things and blows things up to proportions that you can't even imagine. This is, and that's, by the way, that's the big job of the terrorists. And by us watching it and taking it in, we're helping them. They have a statement, the terrorists, better to kill one person in the Kasbah than 1,000 people in the desert. Because when they killed that one person in the middle of the city, then they're scaring, kill one, scare millions. It's exactly the purpose. Therefore, we have to be very, very, very careful not to take in all this media and things. So that's basically the idea. And so he says, right? If you're in a place where there's a danger and it's a clear danger, then obviously that's not what we're saying. Don't pay attention and just keep going and trust Hashem and do good. If it's a clear 100% danger, you're going and something bad's going to happen to you, then be careful. That's okay. So it's a fine line, but most of us get pulled into the other thing that we said is the danger of being paralyzed. So yes, we need to be aware. We need to use our intellect. We need to use our sechel that God gave us. That if there's a real danger that's immediate, that's tangible, okay, we take it seriously, but not, especially in our generation, the fear of the imagination that expands from all of the things we watch, and that is, and we become paralyzed. So I bless us. We should take in these two messages and really go do good and fulfill our mission. And next week, God help, we start Nekiyut, the new character of cleanliness. We'll talk about it next week. Thank you. All the best.